Ciao guys, I'm Caitlin Dozier, and today I'll be talking about this particular famous Italian painter. It's not that guy or that guy. Ooh, I don't know how that one got there. Ah, there he is. Alessandro di Mariano Divani Filippi, or also known as Sandro Botticelli. This guy painted some really cool stuff, but first, let's talk a bit about the historical backgrounds of what was happening in Italy at this time. So during this beautiful time in history we call the Renaissance, some of the influential people of the time, such as artists, were Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo. And of course there was also Filippo Brunelleschi, who is a famous engineer who built the Dome or El Duomo, which is a very big architectural space in Italy. Some really cool scientists at the time were Galileo and Leonardo da Vinci, who were pioneers in their respective fields, such as learning that the Earth revolves around the sun and made some really cool studies in human anatomy. One of the really cool politicians of the time was Machiavelli, who wrote The Prince, which you've probably heard of if you've taken European history. And lastly, we have Martin Luther, who was a very big religious figure of the time period. So now that you've kind of learned about the historical background during Botticelli's time, now we're going to be talking about the man himself. He was born in 1446 and died in 1510. Botticelli was a childhood nickname meaning little barrel, and apparently it just stuck. So he grew up with his dad and his brother. His dad was Mariano Divini, and he was a tanner. His brother was actually working as a goldsmith, so Botticelli apprenticed with his brother at the goldsmith. One of the really cool artists that Botticelli got to work with and under was studio artist Fra Filippo Lippi, who taught him a lot about frescoes and panel painting and the technique about frescoes, which are very big in Italy. Another really cool artist that Botticelli got to work under was Antonio del Pogliolo, who was also an engraver. He also worked with Andrea del Verrocchio, who, fun fact, Leonardo also worked under. And next we're going to be talking about some of his famous artworks. Adoration of the Magi was one of Botticelli's famous works, and he was actually asked to paint this painting by Gaspare del Lama, who was actually a tax collector. He really wanted to impress the Medici family with this painting, and Botticelli even painted some of the famous Medici family members in this beautiful artwork with its vibrant color and religious theme. One of Botticelli's most famous works is Birth of Venus. This beautiful but controversial work was actually locked away for half a century, and it was meant to go over a marital bed. Botticelli was very influenced by the classical styles of the time period. A philosopher, Marsilio Ficino, actually interpreted this beautiful painting as joining of spirit and matter. This cool painting was made after Venus and Domini, which was a Greek mythological story. La Primavera, Allegory of Spring, was also one of Botticelli's very famous works, probably not as famous as The Birth of Venus. This painting was inspired by the Medici debates and legends that were told behind the Medici walls. Botticelli was very close to the Medici brothers at the time. He was also one of the first artists to make Greek mythology the center of his paintings. There are also many interpretations for this beautiful piece of work, but one well-known interpretation for the Allegory of Spring is that it symbolizes spiritual and sensual love. Botticelli's secondary works are Madonna del Magnificence, which is one of his most famous Madonna paintings that he created. It was made in 1482. Mars and Venus, another famous painting by Botticelli, mean war and love, and they were also Greek god and goddess. This painting symbolizes that love conquers all, and this painting was made in 1485. Last but not least, we have Lamentations over the Dead of Christ, which was made in 1495 by Botticelli. However, toward the end of Botticelli's career, he burned a lot of his art pieces by his own hand due to religious happenings at the time. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have learned something about Botticelli or Italy, really anything. Botticelli was a really interesting painter, and he was also a very complicated individual among a sea of equally intriguing artists. What more can you expect from Italy? So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Grazie and arrivederci.